All right, welcome back to episode 7 of the 2026 Speakin Spring podcast series. Hard to believe that we are already 7 episodes into the series for the 2026 series, and that as we, inch closer towards turkey season across the country, whether it be South Florida, South Carolina, where we're located, or Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, wherever you are, we're inching closer. We are from the release date of this, we are, I believe, 3 weeks out, around about 3 weeks out from our inaugural. Lord have mercy, I shouldn't try to say big words. Inaugural trip to South Florida to kick off our 2026 season. So, with that being said, obviously, as always, we're super excited and looking forward to it. I know we sound like a broken record with these things for those who do listen, but it's the truth. We're pumped, we're thrilled, and we're ready to rock and roll. I actually got my vest packed, or have been getting it packed over the past week or so. I think I posted a vest dump on the short talking about some of that. We'll be patterning our guns here the next week or so and packing our bags and making that 6-hour trip down to South Florida to chase our first Osceola. So with that being said, we'll jump into today's episode. I don't know how long this was going to be. It's just me, Charlie, again on this episode, and we'll kind of explain that in a minute as to why. But first off, I want to apologize for not getting one of these out last week. I think last week's the first week we've missed in a few weeks, and I've had the flu. I've been down and just sick as a dog, and I've only been able to do pretty much one thing, and that's study for my classes that I'm taking through college, and I really didn't want to do that. Along with work, it was a pretty tough week on me, but got me some antibiotics and some vitamin C and Pedialyte and all that, and I'm up and running again and feeling better and back in the groove. So again, I apologize for not having one of these up last week, which obviously prohibited us from recording as I was sick. Will obviously didn't want to get sick, and I didn't want to get Will sick, and so it just didn't really work out. We had plans to also have some other guests on the podcast last week, and it just kind of, again, wasn't going to work. Even over the phone, I didn't feel up for it. So, with that being said, we're back. Again, we're here, and we're talking about new things, and we're going to jump into a few topics. There's a couple things that's going on in the turkey hunting world over the past week or week and a half that I want to talk about and share our opinions on, and hopefully we'll get back on these podcasts here soon. We're just in a point in our life right now where we're trying to get these things done, but also Will has responsibilities with his job, and Will has responsibilities with him being in college again, as well as I'm going through prerequisites before nursing school, and so we're just super busy, and I have a part-time job, and I'm just constantly on the go. So we're trying to get some things done so we can turkey hunt and be free throughout the spring. So bear with us with that. I hate Will's not able to get on here. But with that being said, again, we've kind of talked about these things before, that life comes before YouTube, and that's just the way it is, and that's how it's going to be. So hopefully Will can get on one of these things here soon, and I fully understand him not making it onto this one. But anyways, we're going to jump into some things, and I want to talk about, and the first thing is that this past week, Primos. If you don't follow hunting in general, you probably don't know who Primos is. But for those who do follow and do understand, Primos is the pioneer, really and truly, for a lot of the hunting industry. They were one of the first to air turkey hunts and video turkey hunts, and the video hunting in general. They started publishing and having these cassette tapes and these VCRs and these later DVDs, and then web series and TV series. They kind of laid the foundation for the video, and they laid the foundation for mass producing turkey calls. So with that being said, they released their 50th anniversary video this past week or week and a half, really. And man, what a touching video. And we've talked about this before. They are the reason that we are in hunting to begin with. Not only that, but they're the reason we want to post hunts and film hunts. Will and I single-handedly learned how to turkey hunt from the Truth series. I would have been like 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old. Please, for the love of the good Lord above, do not make a 6-7 joke out of that. For those who listen, I hate even saying it. But I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and Will would have been, let's see, 13 or 14 or something like that. And I remember buying the Truth 24 and 25, and we watched them videos, and we've talked about this before. We watched them videos literally every day. That's not a joke. Will and I will watch these videos every day, especially before turkey hunt. We'd wake up at 4 a.m. before turkey hunting, watch an hour of Truth 24, and go turkey hunting. That's where we learned to turkey hunt. We really didn't have people. We had a few people here and there, and we learned with our granddad and everything that we learned through different people. I don't want to say we strictly learned from the Truth web series, but that is 95% of how we learned to turkey hunt. Will Primos and Jimmy Primos and Brad Ferris and all these people that Kevin Meacham, and it just so all the guys. There's Troy Ruiz. I don't want to leave anyone out. All these people that's been involved in Primos hunting for the past 50 years, we owe them a lot as turkey hunters and as hunters in general. They have paved the way, and it just touched me. And we and Will's had a conversation briefly about it. It touched both of us. It was just cool. It was cool to see the impact that they've had. The people saying that, hey, I didn't have a dad. I appreciate you teaching me how to turkey hunt. Or in our case, we didn't really have a background of hunting when we got into it when we were young kids, and we'd fished and done small game hunting and stuff, but when we got into it, they taught us, and it's just so moving and impactful to know that that's what they did. They shared what they did, and it becomes such a huge thing, and it meant so much to so many people, and it's just touching. I'm forever grateful for the Primos people. I don't want to sound like a fanboy or anything, but I mean they've done a lot for the world of turkey hunting, the world of deer hunting, elk hunting, duck hunting, whatever it is. I mean, Will Primos is the most notable call maker, I think, in probably the world. I don't know if there's anyone that's done it like Primos and has done it to the success of Primos and that has made the impact that Primos has had. I just don't. I use Primos calls most of my life, and I still have a couple in my vest, and I refuse to take them out. Just what I love, is what I grew up on, and I turkey hunt with that same kind of style, the way they do. The run and gun, but sitting down a little while and taking it easy and trying to hunt them to the best of my ability. It was just a very touching thing, and it meant a lot to me, and I'm assuming to other people that turkey hunt, to have that released on the day that it did, and just super thankful for those fine people over at Primos. But a less of a good subject. I've seen a lot of negativity with the whole NWTF convention ordeal, and it being like a fashion show, and it's just paid ordeal, and I don't care to talk about political topics and stuff like this, but I can say that I do believe the NWTF convention is no longer what it used to be. I've never been. We were wanting to go this year, and I'm kind of thankful we didn't go in a way. It just ain't what it used to be. It's become like this fashion show thing to me, and people are there that have no interest in turkey hunting. People are there that just want to be there to take a picture and say they were there. And that's what, I'm sorry, but, well, I'm not really sorry. I shouldn't say I'm sorry. That's what turkey hunting has become. That's what duck hunting has become. That's what deer hunting has become. I'm going to go hunt and take a picture to show everybody in the world that I did it, and I'm going to not do anything to help these birds, help these deer. I'm not going to do anything to better wildlife or anything else. I'm just here for clicks. I'm here to take a picture and post it on Instagram. That's what everything has become. There's very few people at that NWTF convention that'll kill a turkey and sit there and truly appreciate the bird and appreciate the gift of the wild turkey and understanding what it means to so many people. Like, I saw this dude on TikTok the other day post this video about seeing people sitting by turkeys with cigars, or seeing people sitting by turkeys and writing these long paragraphs about it that is stupid and he don't understand it, and we look, and in lack of better words, dumb. And to that guy, I say, no, that's not the case. You know, people that value the bird and love the bird, I want to enjoy every flipping second of it. I want to enjoy every moment. Because when April 30th rolls around, or May 15th rolls around, or June the 15th, whenever your season ends, for me, it's normally April 30th. Thanks to the blessings of the good Lord, it's going to be a little extended this year due to traveling. But with me, personally, when April 30th rolls around, and I don't have a turkey hunt anymore, I don't get to chase my dream, chase my passion, I'm down in the dumps a little while. I don't feel good about my life for a little while. I miss it. To me, I want to enjoy those moments. And if that means killing a turkey and sitting there for 40 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, 6 years, I'm going to sit down by an oak tree and look at the wind blow and look at the flowers in the distance and thank God for the beautiful gift of the wild turkey. To me, one of the greatest gifts that the good Lord's ever put on this earth is the wild turkey. And I'm going to cherish the wild turkey until the day I die. I'm going to teach my children to cherish the wild turkey, and my grandchildren to cherish the wild turkey. Because at the end of the day, that means more to people than people understand. Turkey hunting has given me the gift of being out. When I'm stressed, and I hate to sound like Michael Waddell, but he's true. When I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, when I'm down, when I'm depressed, I go turkey hunting and that all goes away. When I'm turkey hunting, I'm calling up a turkey and I'm shaking hands with Will, and I'm, jumping up and down, and I'm fanning this bird out and admiring his beautiful iridescent feathers. I have no thought in the world about school. I have no thought in the world about financial problems. I have no thought in the world about tomorrow or yesterday. My mind is focused on what's there in the present moment. So to that guy, I say, I respect the wild turkey, and I love the wild turkey, and I cherish the wild turkey. So I am going to sit down by a turkey. I'm going to smoke a cigar, or I'm going to sit there and talk to my brother or whoever else for 4 hours on end and enjoy it and soak it up and take pictures of it. And I don't care. Turkey hunting isn't a fashion show. Turkey hunting isn't all about killing a turkey. If turkey hunt was about killing a turkey, then everybody would do it because it'd be easy. Most people turkey hunt do it because it's hard. That's what we enjoy about it. So to that guy, I say, you need to kind of get your morals in line a little bit and understand what's going on in life. Because not everybody's you, and not everybody believes the same things you do. And to get back on the NWTF subject, is there a lot of people like that coming into the hunting industry and coming into the world that we live in. And I don't mind that people are getting into hunting. I want people to get into hunting. I want people that love to hunt, though. I want people that do it the right way. I'm so tired of seeing these posts about hopping a property line or hopping a fence and shooting a bird with a rifle and shooting a jake and all. I get tired of that. Those aren't the people I want hunting. Those aren't the people that passionate turkey hunters want in the industry. I and other people around me and in my circle and most people that I've talked to want people that love the wild turkey to hunt. That's why we're on this platform. Yeah, we don't have a platform. We don't have a big following, and I pray we do one day so we can reach the right people. Our goal and our job with this YouTube channel and this following, or whatever you want to call it, on the turkey hunting side of things, is to introduce people to turkey hunting, but to do it the right way. Not to introduce people to turkey hunt while spreading this terrible message. We want to spread the good message, spread the good word of the Lord, but on top of that, spread the miracle of turkey hunting and what it means to me, to Will, and everyone we hunt with. Because everyone we hunt with shares these same values. For example, I'm sure he won't mind me bringing him up, and he'll tell you this firsthand. Me and Paxton talk on the phone pretty much once, twice a week, every night about these things, about these issues, about these controversies, and we shake our heads and we don't understand why people aren't more thankful and like loving the bird more. Why don't these people appreciate what we have? Because we're not always going to have it. A turkey is a limited resource. If you don't understand that, look at what happened in the 1880s, 1890s, all the way through the 1950s. The turkey was non-existent. The wild turkey was like, in the state of Alabama, was about 2,500 was a state population. We almost eradicated the wild turkey. Thanks to wonderful people and conservationists, we brought them back. But they're not a non-limited resource. They are going to go away if we don't manage these things. I'm going to cherish the moment. I'm going to enjoy the moment, and I'm not doing it, or anybody shouldn't be doing it, for likes, clicks, and an Instagram post. People that go to the NWTF and ruin that experience for people by showing up and taking pictures in their mossy oak bottomland and just making it a fashion show. It's not a fashion show. It's a show and a thing to raise money, apparently, for the wild turkey and to enjoy the gift of the wild turkey and to celebrate the coming of turkey season. I have a problem with that kind of stuff. I have a problem with these people that just, I don't even know, just spew stuff out of their behinds that are just wrong, blatantly wrong, and just care nothing about the sport. I want the sport to be bettered. I don't want the sport to be run on the ground, and the sport's being ran in the ground, as everyone that hunts with me agrees. Period. So I hate to even talk about it, but I've seen so much and heard so much about it, it's just honestly ridiculous. It's foolish. I mean, in the same sense, just let it go. I mean, and just live your own life. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's why we didn't go. I mean, we didn't go. We would rather go turkey hunting than go to a convention. I thought about entering the calling competition ordeal. Decided not to do it. I mean, it's really pointless. I don't really care at the end of the day. I don't really care about going to that convention at the end of the day. I would love to meet Will Primos. I would love to meet the hunting public. I would love to meet Dave Owens. I'd love to meet these people. But I also love the sport. And I love the sport more than going to a convention, period. Not saying that if you go to a convention you don't love the sport, because there's people that go to the sport that are great people. There's people that go to the convention that are world-class turkey hunters. Like I just named all these people, for example. I'm not saying it to those people. I'm saying it to these people that have nothing to do with turkey hunting, go to this show, and essentially these are the same people that bash the bird, kill 15,000 turkeys a year, and again, I've known people in my life that have killed way too many turkeys and been over the limit and, killed turkeys with their vehicles and bragged about it. I know people, and so does Will, and so does Paxton, and so does Mr. Randy, and all these people, and we've always called them out on it. And my point with that is just quit running the sport into the ground. Let's appreciate the turkey. Let's enjoy the turkey. We only get a few days out the year to do these things, 30 to 60 days for most people to hunt the bird. And you don't ever know how many springs you're going to have. You don't know if you're going to have another spring. You don't know if you're going to have another day. So enjoy the moments given. Appreciate the bird. Appreciate the God above, and appreciate the wonderful things he's given us. So anyways, you know how I get if you've watched these things about these things. I get fired up and get all out of shape and everything else. I promise I'm not a turd when it comes to turkey hunting and everything. I'm just passionate about it, and I hate seeing these certain things. But to me, in my own mind, to each their own. People are going to do their own things. You have your own opinion. You do whatever you want to do. And at the end of the day, I could care less, as long as you're not hurting the sport that I love. Because if you start doing that, then I'm going to get pretty mad and frustrated, which doesn't mean anything. I'm just simply pointing out why I get the way I do. Anyways, heading to some more turkey hunting related subject. I would say the three are the most important skill of a turkey hunter that you have to have, to me, and this is opinion, is being a good caller. I think that is the most important thing about turkey hunting, is being a good caller. Can you kill turkey being an average caller? Sure. I'm probably an average caller myself. I don't think I'm the greatest by any means. And with that being said, I think the second thing is of being turkey hunting that's a skill, I would say, is being a good woodsman, knowing your surroundings, knowing the terrain, knowing the topography, knowing how and where to call up a turkey and when to do it and when not to do things. And that's probably the second. And the third, I think, is they always say it's a virtue. That'd be patience. Patience is an art. The art of patience. It's hard to be a good turkey hunter, and it's hard to be a successful turkey hunter without that P word. It really is. And I think any old timer will tell you that. Anybody that really experienced with turkey hunting will tell you that. As I've gotten older, I feel like my patience has grown, and I feel like in turn that's made me a better turkey hunter. With that being said, last year and the year before and every other year of my life, I've been cost turkeys because of the fact that I ain't patient about things at times. But over the past few years, I've learned that it's so much more important than anyone could ever realize. For example, last year, and Mr. Randy Rhymes is, again, an unbelievable turkey hunter. He's been doing it a long time. He was doing it at the peak of turkey hunting when there wasn't really much law and limit regulation going on, and he does it now in what is, in my opinion, probably the second hardest era to turkey hunt in. The first, obviously, being when there was none really even in the United States to begin with. We're in a pretty hard era of turkey hunting right now, if I do say so myself. And, there was a time or two last year where he had hunted, and he would call and call, and this bird would gobble and gobble and gobble, and he would finally just shut up. And after a little while, Mr. Randy would get up and leave, and he'd have a turkey walk right by where he was sitting on a camera, on a picture, on his trail camera, time and time again. 20 minutes after he'd leave, 30 minutes after he'd leave. I think there was even an example of 10 minutes after he had left, there was a turkey walk right by there, right where he was sitting. And he said over and over and over, man, if I'd have just sat there, I'd have killed him. Man, if I'd have just sat there a little longer. Man, if I'd have just been patient. And how many times do we find ourselves while turkey hunting say those words? Man, if I'd have just sat here a little longer. Man, if I'd have been more patient. Patience is such a great virtue of turkey hunting that is often just overlooked. If I could change anything about me, it would be that I'd be more patient. I've gotten more patient, but I still ain't a very patient person. I'm patient with a lot of things. When it comes to hunting, I ain't very patient. I think bow hunting with deer has improved that ability of mine to sit in a stand for 3 hours without really moving anything but your eyes. And, I had a deer last year. I watched him at 40 yards, and I could not get a shot on him, could not draw on him, and it was one of our shooter bucks that we were trying our best to kill. It's the first time I'd ever sat this bow stand. I just hung it like 2 days prior, hunting a travel corridor. He comes all the way up into I think he got up to about 38 yards, and I just could not draw on him. He was to my right, and I couldn't shoot. And that just teaches you patience, and I think you have to learn through trial and error to be patient, to be more patient. And again, I think it's an art. I think it's the most important art of hunting the wild turkey is to be patient. Back in the day, I think people would call 3 or 4 times and shut up because simply the calls weren't good. In the 50s and 60s, they would yelp on a box call 3 or 4 times and wouldn't make another sound if he answered because they knew they didn't need to mess up and they knew they had to be patient. That's how people killed turkeys back then. They were patient. They would sit there for hours on end and nothing would happen. If you've ever watched the Colonel and the Fox documentary, Tom Kelly, I don't remember if it was Tom Kelly or Mr. Fox, who actually, and I want to say this, and I should have said this earlier, and I have it in my talking points and somehow missed it. We recently lost in the turkey hunt community, Mossy Oaks, Mr. Fox. So I want to, sure this will never reach them or anything, but regardless, I want to send my condolences to his family and to the Hayes family, and just an unbelievable turkey hunter and a pioneer for the sport, and another person that without his efforts of conservation and his hard work, we wouldn't have the wild turkey. So my condolences to Mr. Fox's family, and I hate that. I really do. He was from what I've always seen on video and on all these different videos and stuff, watching Mossy Oak and everything, he's always been a really, really wonderful guy. And there aren't very many of them left of that greatest generation. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. But one of the two of them, and I want to say Tom Kelly, and maybe I'm wrong. They hunted like 60 days of a turkey season every single day. Every single day. Without hearing one gobble. Didn't hear one gobble. But still had to drive and the patience to get up every morning, knowing they probably weren't going to hear jack. But they went. They was in them woods turkey hunting. If that ain't patience, I don't know what is. If I ain't heard turkey in 3 or 4 days, I'm mad. I'm kicking the ground and wondering how do I need to get my ears checked or whatever else. Am I doing something wrong? Am I going deaf? I mean, what's going on? Why ain't I hearing turkey gobble? So again, I just patience is so important, and it's unbelievably important. And that's going to lead in the next talking point. There was a day. What year would this have been? Let's see. Let me go back in the memory bank here. 2023, maybe 2024, but I want to say 2023. I don't remember which year. I know 2024 was the first year of Panache Productions on YouTube, and that second episode of that season, I missed a turkey, which was my second miss, or my third miss in my life. My first miss was my first time ever shooting at a turkey, and my second miss story I'm about to tell. So yeah, it would have been 2023, and I missed him with a 20 gauge. So yeah, okay. Just wanted to kind of talk that out and figure that out in my own head. So 2023, this is when this day would have occurred. We hunted one morning. And it was just one of those mornings. You've always talked about or hear about when the weather's right and it's crisp and it's cool and it's not going to get above 70 and it's about mid-April, it's going to be a good day. The sun was shining, bluebird skies, perfect barometric pressure was just money. And we hunted this morning, and there were some birds gobbling across this highway, and we weren't really in the right position off the limb, but we got where we needed to be, and we called up three strutters and several jakes. They came right to us. They went quiet the last 10 minutes. It was a perfect ordeal. We're looking down this fence line, and these birds come strutting down this fence line, and you hear them drumming. That's the first thing you know that tells you they're there, is them drumming, and they're there and spitting, and they ended up kind of working around us. We ended up not getting a shot on them, unfortunately, but I remember that we left that day. It was me, Will, and our cousin Wayne. We left that day hunting, and I remember telling them, like, because maybe they had to go to work, or maybe I can't really remember what they had to do. Or I think Wayne maybe had just had a baby or something, and I really can't remember why. But I think I was the only one that could hunt the rest of that day or something. Because I would have been a junior in high school, and I might have been on spring break or something. I really don't remember, but I knew I had to hunt. So I went to this place, and I knew there was going to be birds. And I got about halfway across this cutover. I was on the edge, so I wasn't sticking out like a sore thumb. But I was on the edge of this cutover, about halfway to where the turkey should be. And I remember calling, and the first time I hit a call, about 3 or 4 of them lit up. I was like, oh, yeah, this is about to be good. It was about 1 o'clock, maybe. It might have been after school. I can't remember. It was like mid to late afternoon, or I'd say mid-afternoon. And when you strike a turkey like that mid-afternoon, there's a couple of them. It's normally going to get nasty. And patience ruined this for me. It did, and it ruined the rest of the story. I had sat down on this cutover in a bush, and they had come all the way to the edge of the cutover, and I could see them down there in that corner strutting and gobbling, and they were, I don't know, maybe 150, maybe. And they went back in the woods, and I didn't give them enough time, and I pushed the issue, and I probably spooked them, honestly. I probably got up too soon and moved, and they saw me because they ended up going quiet because I was trying to get down to that corner where they were at. And I ended up screwing that pooch. I don't really know what happened for sure, but that's just kind of my greater intuition telling me I probably spooked him. But I knew I still had a chance. I knew that day was too beautiful, and that I still had an opportunity to hunt and to have a successful hunt. So I went to the third different place of the day. This place is a fat walk back in there. You park at the front and you walk. you got to cover some ground and get some miles under you. So that's exactly what I did. I moved and moved and moved and got back to where I needed to be, and it was also a cutover. Not a particularly fresh cutover. It was pretty thick and swampy and nasty, but there was some hardwoods on the back end and some pines on the right. And actually, I killed a turkey in 2024 on this piece of property. But I got in there, and I remember I hit my mouth call, and I didn't hear anything. And I hit it again, and I didn't hear anything. I hit a slate call, didn't hear anything. And I was like, man, if there's a bird back in them hardwoods, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to strike one of them birds up out of them hardwoods back there. Because I knew if I tried to walk into those hardwoods, I'd get picked off, because they normally hang out on that corner on the edge of them, right on the edge of the cutover. So I knew better just to go tromping all up in there. And I called, and I called, and I called, and I just could not hear anything. And I was about to leave. I said, you know what, I'm about done. I'm going to go somewhere else. Because it was probably at that point about 5 o'clock. It was pretty late in the afternoon. I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and head on, you know. Before I did, I hit my mouth call as loud as I possibly could. I mean, I was down there blowing the reeds out of it, literally. I mean, I blew as loud as I could. Pause. And I thought I heard one when I did. I was like, man, that sounded like a turkey gobble. But man, that was a long ways away. Like, I was like, good Lord, that had to have been 500-600 yards. Like, it's the longest gobble I've ever heard in my life on the ground. I've heard some long ones, and we'll talk about that. I'm actually going to talk about that story in this episode. I've heard some long ones. I've heard them a good ways off, but this bird was like, man, I barely heard him. Barely heard him. It's like, man, that had to have been a turkey. I sat there. I said that. I stood there. I put the decoy in the ground, and I stood there. I just had a hen decoy, and I stood there for maybe 5 minutes. Man, I'm going to call one more time. And when I called that second time, he cut the distance. At that point, he was about 250, 300. When the turkeys move that much, that fast, that quick, and that amount of ground, I knew it was about to happen. That joker was coming. I don't know how he was coming through that thick cutover, but he was doing it. And I wasn't complaining. So I backed up, got beautiful, perfect cover. I couldn't have been any more covered. Couldn't have been any more hid. I got set down, and that joker, he got to by the time I sat down, he was probably at 100, and he gobbled at 100 yards, right on top of me. I hadn't made but 2 calls at this point. Literally 2. That really loud one and that second one to check him. At that point, I just shut up. I wasn't going to make another peep. He was coming. About 2 minutes later, I hear boom. I hear him drumming. Boom. And he comes out at 40 steps right into this. I was actually, this cutter had like a little food plot right in the middle of it from deer season. Oh, it was overgrown or whatever. It was beautiful for him to come in and strut. And he come right in. Come right to the decoy. And I did the same thing I did when I shot at my first ever turkey. Instead of being patient, I shot him when he was in full strut, quartering away. And I missed. And he wasn't a little bird. I mean, he was a good one. And I shot and missed, and that was all it wrote with that one. But getting upset even thinking about it, even talking about it. It's unfortunate. But anyways, the other bird I want to talk about, when I say the longest gobble I've ever heard, I walked in this piece of property this one morning. It was part of a hunting club, and there was probably 20 people, 25 people hunting this place. And it was a 3,000 acre tract, but it was pressured, very pressured. And I went in this gate, and I walked about a mile or so in there, and lost my train of thought. And I don't know, it was probably a mile in there, and I heard some birds gobbling on a limb. It sounded like they were in northwest Alabama. I mean, it was way in there. And I knew that they were going to be pressured, but I knew that was my only opportunity. The only birds I'd heard that morning. So I just sucked it up, and I made a track in there. I mean, I probably was hearing those turkeys from 3/4 mile to a mile. It was one of those mornings you hear forever, and they were in a tree, gobbling and everything. I heard them a long ways off. I got, again, when I got to them, I was probably 2 miles in there. And I don't know if they hadn't been hunted or what, because they did it. There was a whole flock of them coming. A couple long beers and jakes and some hens come right into me. I sat down and called to them for, my goodness, 5 minutes. I mean, they had flown down for probably 30 minutes because it took me so long to get to them and get a good setup. I took my time setting up and everything. And by the time I called to them, they gobbled and they came pretty much right to me. And it was just one of those ordeals where you're like, man, good Lord. Because just the thought of carrying that turkey that far. I had a 2-mile walk up out of there that day. And but it was a good one. It was a heavy walk out because I finally I'd killed my second bird of the year. And that year was rough. The first 15, 20 days of the season, I heard a gobble maybe 3 times. I didn't hear very many gobbling. And I finally ended up killing 2 that year towards the end of the season. Got hot and it all worked out. But that's today's episode. That's all the talking points. I've done enough yapping. I got where I need to get and get all the information out I need to get out, I believe. So it's coming. Times are rolling. I mean, we're right there. We're looking over that hump. We're looking right on over it. So, again, we got the Florida plans and the Georgia plans and the South Carolina plans and the Oklahoma plans and the Wyoming plans, and I think I may even go to Tennessee. So, I had a buddy of mine that I went to high school with that moved to Tennessee. We still talk a lot. He's a big turkey hunter, passionate turkey hunter, and we had talked the other day, and I think I'm going to make a trip up there and hunt with him in May. So, man, I'm ready. I'm thrilled. I'm so thrilled. I'm probably going to pack my truck this week. I know we got 3 weeks left. That don't matter to me. That don't matter at all. I just want to get it all done. I want to get the thought of my mind that we turkey hunting. We going turkey hunting in a few days. So, I'm super thrilled. I'm super excited. And I think Will's getting that itch pretty good too. We've talked a bit about turkey hunting. We played golf the other day, and it was like, man, this weather in South Carolina this past week, it was beautiful. It was 75 degrees, 78 degrees a couple of days this week. We went and played some golf, I think Wednesday afternoon, and we were talking about turkey hunting and just enjoying the weather, the beautiful weather. I'm starting to see some pollen falling on the ground. It's late February in South Carolina, and the pollen's on the ground. If that ain't the sign of spring, I don't know what is. The flowers are coming up. I'm doing landscaping for a part-time job like I have been for a pretty good while, and I'm starting to see some grass growing a little bit. So, doing a little cold snap right now, but it's supposed to be back in the 70s this weekend. So, college baseball's on TV. Spring is here. Golf's on the TV. NASCAR's on the TV. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. This is the best time of year. This is just, you can't beat it. The Masters is in a month and a half. You can't beat it. It's impossible to beat it. So, with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed listening. For those that do listen, I hope I could get you a little bit of insight and a little bit of my opinion, and hopefully a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of storytelling to get you through the pain that we're enduring right now to get to turkey season and the excitedness we're feeling to get to turkey season. So with that being said, we hope y'all enjoyed. We appreciate y'all watching, and as always, we will catch y'all on the next episode.